Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and we're the scouting staff for the Hula Bowl. Today, I have with me one of the athletes who participated in that event this season. His name is DaShaun White. He's a linebacker out of Oklahoma. Nice to have you, sir.
Appreciate it. Nice to see you, dog.
Yeah, nice to see you again. And again, like I had mentioned, we had you at the Hula Bowl, which was great. And you've been able to take that event and really, I don't know, help yourself out in this process, which is really nice. So, but if you don't mind, let's kind of set the stage, go back a little bit, and then work towards the present. So, tell me where you're from. Let's start there.
All right, I am from Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay, so Fort Worth, Texas. They had on your player profile North Richland Hills High
Yeah,
School.
yeah.
Um, Bro, tell me about your high school days and what you were able to do at that point. I mean, if you played any other positions or even other sports.
Okay. High school. Oh God, let's see. I played football. I played basketball, and I ran track as well. I was a 4x1 starting leg, 4x2 starting leg. So I did those, and then I ran the open 100. High school was an interesting time. It was a lot of fun, but I don't know. I look back on it, and I was all state. I was an All American. We had our first playoff push in I think it was since 1970 something. It's been a while. And we went to the fourth round, so it was awesome. We did a lot of fun things in high school.
Cool. So again, like you said, you did some other sports. You did basketball and some track.
Yeah.
You said you were the first leg, which is always interesting.
Yeah.
That's usually the second fastest guy from what my track experience is.
That's fair.
I was always the third guy,
Yeah.
who's normally the slowest, so
Yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah.
But certainly you want to start off things fresh and have some fast legs, which
Yeah.
you do. Um, Obviously, you chose to pursue the game of football instead of some of these other sports. Tell me why you love this game so much.
Yeah. It's a constant chase, to be honest with you. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and so this is one of those things where you're never gonna have a perfect play. You're never gonna have a perfect you can make uh a great sack and beat this, and there's always something that you can do better. And so I think that's really something that I just fell in love with. The constant chase for perfection, the consistency of it. So yeah.
Well, and of course, I thought that you were, when you said chase, obviously chasing after people, because that's kind of what
Yeah,
you
that
do
too. That's a big part
with your
too. Yeah.
with your position. But like you had mentioned, you were an All-American coming out of high school, four-star recruit, landing at Oklahoma. Oklahoma, obviously rich history at Oklahoma, man.
Oh yeah.
What in the talk about being having the opportunity to play for Oklahoma and that rich tradition that you were a part of?
Yeah. Man, it's something you definitely gotta live up to. There's been so many guys that come through there, and it's always cool, spring games and different games and stuff like that, just seeing all the legends come back and kind of pay homage to the university. And so, man, I don't know, it feels really special to be a part of something like that. I always refer to the linebackers there as like LBU, and just I know when I first said it, it was so small minded, like just this group. But looking back at it, like looking at all the guys, the Teddy Lamans, the Rufus Alexander, like I could look at all those guys, like there's really an LBU factor to it, and there's so many legends that came through there. Yeah, very very blessed to been able to play at the University of Oklahoma.
Well, in all fairness, I think given the tradition at Oklahoma, at almost every position, it
Yeah,
doesn't matter what position
yeah,
it is. It's obviously
yep,
gonna churn out talent that's gonna make it to the pros and create all stars.
no,
So,
that's right, that's right.
but yeah, obviously you were there as a linebacker. Uh, Per my notes, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I got
Yeah,
this off of PFF,
yeah.
um, 48 career starts. Does that sound about right?
Man, I don't even know. there's so many. I started a lot of games. I can tell you that. I know I missed one, 2021. I was sick, but man, I couldn't. Feels like I started all of them. To be honest with you.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, dude, you were there for a while. I mean, you were
Oh yeah.
able to obviously be a fixture there on that defense. But kind of want to also, before I get to the football stuff, I mean, you were there for a while. I'm sure you also obtained a degree from Oklahoma. What'd you ultimately major in there and get your degree in?
Human relations.
All right,
Yeah.
interesting. So, where would that lead you? Like if football wasn't there,
No,
maybe after football's done for you, you have any idea what you might do?
man, I have no clue. No clue if I'm being 100% honest with you. I feel like I'm still figuring it out. But I don't know. Just always the classes always intrigued me. Just kind of learning how people work together and why people might react this certain way to this and to that. So um, it was really interesting to me. But man, I got no clue what I want to do with it yet.
Well, hey, there are some people that are in their 40s who are still
Yeah,
trying to figure that out.
yeah.
So, yeah. But anyways,
We'll figure it out sooner or later.
no, no, yeah, I get you. Maybe before it's all said and done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, got your degree there, which is great. And like I said, at least 48 starts that we know of. So a very experienced guy there, and certainly one of the leaders of that defense. Talk to me about you as a leader of that defense, because I mean, I'm sure that you know, despite whatever the whoever's got the C on their chest any given week, I know a lot of people are looking at you as a leader of that defense. How do you take that I guess role, and what do you feel are some of your leadership skills?
Yeah. Well, first off, I embrace it. To be honest, when Coach Venables got there, he's really demanding of our seniors. You know, he came to us. He was like, basically the trajectory of this team is up to you guys. You know, this is going to be a player led team, and just kind of him pulling that out of us really sort of set a few guys on the ground to just really dive in. You know, and I feel like I was one of those guys. Me personally, I'm not super like vocal rah rah. But I feel like I'm a real like lead by example. I know I'm an energy guy. I'm one of those guys who come to practice every day. I'm probably dancing with somebody, one of those people. And I don't know. I think that's probably the biggest one. Just being an energy guy, always keeping like the positivity in the air, the smiles going around. Because I mean, what we do is it's demanding. It's real demanding. You got to find the ways to enjoy the moments within the journey. So
Cool. So yeah, keeping things positive certainly helps
yeah,
helps the
yeah.
good days and the bad days you get through those. So um talk about how you're utilized on Oklahoma's defense. I mean, part of the reason why I kind of want to talk about this is like bro, I don't know how you're going to be used at the next level. One thing I
Yeah.
do know is the way this game is evolving is it's evolving where linebackers are asked to do a whole lot more than they used to, meaning like, you know, stay out there, stay in coverage. We're working a whole lot more nickel, a whole lot more 4-2-5 or 3-3-5 or however the heck you want to call it. But
Yeah.
how are you used on that Oklahoma defense overall?
Yeah. Well, this year it was totally different from anything I've ever done before. I played nickel. It was more of a nickel Sam position. Just sort of depending on the team we played that week, their scheme. Really just to the strong side backer. I played a lot over the top too. I played some strong safety, so it was a very versatile year for me. Yeah.
So, what do you see yourself kind of translating to at the next level? I mean, there's part of me that feels like you might be more suited to play like a strong safety role.
Mhm.
Um, how would you respond to that?
Yeah. I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not against it. I feel like I can do a lot of things well. I think it would be nice to have something that I could focus on, but I mean, I'm open to whichever position whoever wants me to play, and that's really how I feel about it.
Gotcha. I mean, I do think that a lot of things are in your favor as a prospect. I mean, when it comes to things like level of experience, versatility. And I also know that you have a great mind for the game, man. But how would you describe yourself as like I don't know, as a linebacker, as a prospect, and what do you think your best attributes are as a player?
Yeah. I think number one is I'm smart. I'm intelligent. I take a lot of pride, and dang near anytime we step on the field, I want to be the smartest player on the field. Because that's something that, you know, athleticism isn't really something you can control, but your preparation and how much you study the game and different stuff like that, you can control those things. So I'm gonna always hang my hat on intelligence and try to be one step ahead of the OCs. And when they get in these formations, knowing what they want to do and kind of tipping things off to the DNs and talking to the safeties, like that's something that I really take pride in. And then there's the athletic things that God has given me that, I didn't really do much for. But yeah, I take a lot of pride in being the smart guy out there.
Cool. Well, DaShaun, I kind of want to share a quick story with you. So
Okay.
obviously we invited you down to the Hula Bowl
Yeah.
so that you could showcase all of your skills. But I do remember having a conversation with a couple of our scouts
Yeah.
who at one point or another, they were actually sitting in the film room with you,
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
at some games and
Makes sense.
trying to figure out like tendencies of your opponent and such. So I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, dude, you're putting forth a whole lot of effort in getting better, really helping your game. I mean, when you are studying film, what are some things that help you, like, when you're trying your best to better yourself?
Yeah. I like to watch full games just so you can kind of feel. I don't know. I feel like when I watch games, I want to get in the head of the OC a little bit. I really want to understand what he wants to do, what he likes to do in these situations. I mean, that's how you best get a feel for the offensive coordinator. If a team likes to RPO and whatever situation they like to RPO in, I want to be ready to be able to tell the guys around me to alert this, alert that. And so just trying to pick up on tendencies. Anytime like a lot of offenses get to the logo in the middle of the field and they want to take a shot. Just little stuff like that that I can be able to, shout to everyone else. So
Cool. So, obviously, speaking of you coming to the Hula Bowl, I do want to just kind of get your take on the Hula Bowl. I mean, obviously, we called you. We said,
yeah,
"Hey, man, come to Orlando, and
yeah,
be with the rest of the linebackers here." Talk about that Hula Bowl week for you, man. Whether it be practices,
yeah.
some of the activities, your teammates, the coaches, the game, dude. Anything that you want to share about that week overall?
Man, I had a great time. I had a really good time. Got really close with the backers there. I felt like the backers on my team were just we really kind of came together. We were helping each other out all week. Just focused on getting better, but also having a good time. And then all the coaches, like I'll never forget any of those coaches. They all got big personalities, really smart guys. Got to learn a lot all week long, and it was just, I mean, it was a great experience. Be able to get around a lot of other really good football players and play ball, have fun. It was a great time.
Cool. Were there any plays in the actual game itself that you remember?
Um, yeah, I remember. God, I can't remember. Big Arizona State off the edge with the pick on the screen, and I only remember it because earlier that week in practice, he had a very similar situation where the ball had. I don't know how DNs get their hands on the ball like that, but the ball had came through his hands and he had dropped it, and I just remember him telling everybody like, "I'm gonna catch the next one. I'm gonna catch the next one." And we get to the game and he caught it. So I mean, no complaints from me. No complaints from me. But yeah,
Cool. Well, DaShaun, I mean, I know you, were able to really do a lot of things like throughout your career, in a lot of great games there for Oklahoma.
yeah,
When you look back at the entirety of your career,
yeah.
give me like your own personal highlights. I mean, like, is there maybe a game or a play that's going to stick in your memory for years to come?
Um, I'd probably say Iowa State this year. I think was a big one for me, and even Nebraska this year. I got thrown out before halftime in Nebraska, but for targeting. But just before that, I could just really, I remember just sort of the feeling of just really feel like I was coming into myself as a player, really getting comfortable in a new position. And I just felt like after that game, I would hit the ground running. And that's what I feel like I did. So I definitely say that Nebraska game was big. And then the Iowa State game was really big too. It was I had the most tackles that game, 14 tackle day. Just flying all over the field, having a lot of fun with my teammates. Like there's a lot of games like that, or even this year where we might not even got the win, but it's just moments I can look back on that I know I'll never forget. So
Awesome. So, buddy, you actually put together a really solid resume there at Oklahoma. You showed out at the Hula Bowl. Um, you even got drafted in the USFL by what is it, the Michigan Panthers?
yeah, yeah,
Um, Tell me how that feels, man. I mean, being
yeah.
already drafted into some league.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% gratitude, man. I was so grateful. And it's crazy because I had no clue the draft was going on. Like I had just got out of the shower. I had a phone call. I didn't know who was calling me. I answered the phone call and they're like, "Congratulations, you're drafted to the Michigan Panthers." I'm like, "Man, the draft's not for another so and so weeks." But just after sort of doing my research and talking to those coaches some more, man, I was grateful. You know, really grateful just to have that opportunity. So
Cool. Well, I mean, obviously, the way the USFL draft goes is they just kind of own your rights in
yeah.
the event that things don't shake out in the NFL. But you do have the opportunity to be drafted in the NFL in the very near future. So that is something that could totally happen. So I do have to kind of I don't know, bounce this whole idea off of you. I mean, being an NFL prospect at this stage in your life, I mean, how are you taking that? I mean, what's your overall like I guess mindset right now?
Yeah. Man, I'm in attack mode. That's kind of how I feel. Especially I do feel like I don't want to sound entitled, but I do feel like I should have been at the combine. And so I've been laser focused on pro day. You know, when pro day comes, that's my opportunity. Couldn't really control, the combine and things like that. So one thing I can't control is showing up on March 30th and doing what I need to do. So just having laser focus there.
Great. So obviously March 30th, you're talking about the Oklahoma Pro Day.
Yeah.
What are your own personal goals for that day? I mean, are there target times or numbers that you're trying to hit, or what are you trying to do, when you plan on going out there?
Yeah. I am, man, I'm busting my tail trying to get this 4.4 as consistent as possible. Like I want to run a 4.4 on pro day. And then I want to put up 17 plus on bench. Um, and then other than that, like I just want to kill the drills. I think I move really well. I think I just go out there and be myself and probably still have a great time, laughing, joking around, but really in the moment, locked in as well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Really am.
Interesting. And again, kind of at least how I see you possibly transitioning to the next level is like we've kind of already said. I mean, being a nickel backer,
Yeah.
maybe being a safety, but there's a lot that you can really add to a team. Certainly going out there and being an excellent contributor on special teams as well. So I mean, anything is possible, man. I mean, hopefully
Yeah.
you're going to go out there and run those sub 4 5 numbers
Come on.
and kill it and get your opportunity, man, because that would
No
be
doubt.
fun.
No doubt. That's the
Uh,
goal, man.
So, DaShaun, let's take a moment. I just kind of want to meet you for just a little bit outside of the game of football. So, is there anything about you that you want to share, whether it be your hobbies, personal
Oh,
interests,
man.
or anything else that you think others might find interesting?
I don't know how interesting this is, but I'm a big gamer. Uh, yeah, I'm a big time gamer. Play a lot of Madden, Call of Duty, 2K. I mean, Apex Legend. I play it all, bro. I'm a big time gamer. So
Okay, okay. Well, I mean, obviously, I think all of us to some extent have played the game at one point or another. I
yeah,
mean, neat. So, and I also have in my notes, like I said, North Richland, I guess that Texas, right?
Yeah.
So, tell me about your hometown, if you don't mind.
Okay. It's north of Fort Worth, right? Right outside of Fort Worth. It's kind of I mean, it's a sub city. It's everything is generally in the same area, but there's a lot of people. It feels like I went home this weekend and it's just packed now. There's way too much going on. But it really felt like sort of a small city growing up. Everything was 5, 10 minutes away. Everyone knew each other, even the opposite schools. The rivalries were big. I mean, I love that city. I miss it, to be honest, too. But you know,
Well, hey, I mean, obviously, like when you first introduced yourself, you said, "Hey, I'm from Fort Worth," which, hey,
yeah,
it's kind of just an extension of it. So, I
yeah,
mean,
no, no doubt.
and that's fine.
No doubt.
Trying to think of a couple things, maybe non-football related, but somewhat. The one that comes to mind for me is, obviously, you're going to have the opportunity to play in the pros,
Yeah,
and that's going to give you an opportunity to, maybe use that as a platform for something else.
yeah.
Have you thought about what that something else would be, a charity cause or whatever? Like, have you thought about what you might do with, your status?
No, no doubt. So I know you asked me what I wanted to do, and I don't know what I want to do exactly. But I know a lot of things that I feel like I would want to do like along the way. And I don't know. I used to always have this like vision or this dream as a kid, because I grew up in a lot of like daycares and boys and girls clubs and stuff, and so I always wanted to start one. Just where probably back home, North Richmond Hills, or might go into more into Fort Worth to do something like that. But I always wanted to start like a boys and girls club and just kind of give kids the same opportunity I had growing up, where mom worked a lot. Parents couldn't always be in the picture during the day, so I just remember how important it was for me to go there and be around my friends and just kind of relax and chill. So yeah, that's kind of something I'm pretty big on. And then I know I want to network a lot and do some things just to kind of. I really want to start a clothing brand and just figure out that side of things. So yeah, I know there's a lot of smart brains in there, a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge. So can't wait to network with as many people as possible.
Well, I mean, you're going to have a lot of great opportunities to do those things. I mean, the other thing that keeps coming to mind for me is I feel like you would be a good coach.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about that? Maybe like
So
after football's done? I mean, has anyone
yeah,
ever thrown that your way?
yeah, no, so coming into college, like I wanted to be a coach, no doubt. Like you couldn't have told me anything else. It was football that I was going to coach, and then I kind of get to college and you see the hours and you see the man. Those guys go hard. They go hard, bro, and it's a very demanding job. But I wouldn't say I'm against it, but it fell down the list a little bit. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, we'll see how it all pans out for you, man. I
Yeah,
mean, you got a lot going on.
no
Like we
doubt.
said, you've already been drafted in the USFL, might be drafted in the NFL in the coming weeks. So I know you have a lot going on, and we really did appreciate you coming to the Hula Bowl.
Yeah,
Felt like you represented us very well, and just kind of wish you very best of luck here on out. All right.
yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate the invite, all that. It was a great, great time.
All right, bud. Well, once again, we got DaShaun White, linebacker out of Oklahoma. Check this guy out.
Yes, sir.